What's going on, everyone? My name is Ronald Kara, and today we're going to be taking a look at A Quiet Place Part 2. The first film came out in 2018 and it focused on this family after Earth was invaded by an alien race that hunts through sound. So if you make any noise that, is very loud or even very small, the aliens will follow it and attack whatever made the noise. They are also covered by armor, which protects them from a lot of the weapons that the military tried to use, which ended up not working, and because of that, the aliens were able to wipe out much of life on the planet. The sequel takes place after the first film, where the surviving family head out from their home after finding out the weaknesses of these aliens, so they decide to leave their place to find a new and safer place to live, where they encounter Emmett, a survivor of the alien attack and someone who has been through, you can pretty much tell a lot after what happened. The family must now try to survive this new world that they are venturing into, while also trying to find a way to stay alive against both the aliens and other threats. Alright, so the plot for this, I have to say, it was always going to be difficult to try outdoing the story for the last film, because I love that story with how suspenseful they were able to make every scene, how scary everything was. Just, you're always worried that you're going to make a noise and these aliens were just going to come out of nowhere and kill you. And I love how there really isn't that much dialogue. It's just our characters communicating through sign language, and we see what they're going through just by reading their body language, and you can tell they really have gone through so much. So for this story, for the sequel, it was always going to be difficult to try outdoing the first one, but they still do a great job. There is a little bit more dialogue in this film with our characters, with them talking. We also get to see how things were like before the aliens attack and then afterwards, and they do a good job, having the suspense going up a notch, which I appreciate. It isn't as suspenseful and scary as the first film, but there are still a lot of good suspenseful moments, and I was very much happy with that because it really did keep me at the edge of my seat and get me hooked on what was going on. Another flaw I can find with this story is there really isn't that much character development for a lot of these characters, which is a real shame. And then another would be the ending just happening abruptly. I kind of feel like you could have ended it a little bit differently there, but it just happened out of nowhere. But still, it isn't that bad. The story for this film, it isn't as good as the first one, but it's still a very good story, and they still do a good job keeping me hooked on everything that's going on from the beginning to the middle, all the way to the very end. So I very much am very happy with how the story went here. Emily Blunt does a good job reprising her role as the mother Evelyn, who now has to take care of her 3 kids after her husband died. We see her trying to do all she can to keep them safe and push them forward to try to find a new place to live. She isn't really given a lot of focus on the story, which is a shame too, but for the most part she does a good job with her role, and she does a great job, trying to keep her family together, while the focus of the film is mostly been on Millicent Simmonds, the daughter Reagan, who I honestly like how much attention she got in the film, how much focus she got, and how much her character had really developed since the first film. I also love the interaction between her and one of the other characters, Emmett, played by Cillian Murphy, who basically is a broken soul. Like, he has lost so much when the aliens invaded, how he has lost so many people, and he's just given up trying to fight them and is just trying to survive. Now, his character isn't given a lot of character development, which is a real shame. We know he's a broken soul, but I kind of wish that he was given a little bit more time on screen. But the interaction he has with Millicent is very good. I love the interaction between these two, and they are probably the best part of the film. Now, as far as the brother, Noah Jupe, the actor Noah Jupe, who plays the brother, I think he did a decent job with the role. He didn't do so bad, but I kind of wish there was a little bit more focus on him, because I did kind of forget what he did, or, just wish he was given a little bit more memorable stuff. Nonetheless, it was still amazing to see what these characters have gone through, because we know what they went through in the first film, but that was just the family. What happens with everyone else? And we got to see that throughout this film, where we see what Emmett went through and just the things he had to endure. And that kind of makes me realize that that's probably what a lot of us would go through if an alien invasion attacked. If these similar aliens attacked us, I think we probably would, a lot of us would give up trying to fight them and would just focus on trying to survive. Because if we can't kill them through normal means, then what's the point in trying to kill them? And we just have to focus on surviving, and hopefully these things will either die off or just leave us, or just leave the planet and go somewhere else. So I like how this family just comes into Emmett's life and tries to help him, like, help them and try to help other people. But he's trying to tell them, like, other people are not going to be like us. There's going to be a lot of people who most likely will try to hurt you. And that's actually true. If we've seen these post-apocalyptic films, you know there's going to be a lot of people who will try to use this apocalypse to their advantage, to try to gain power and do whatever the hell they want, and not always for the good intentions. I appreciate the fact that this film didn't try having everything be shot in a huge city area, but rather in small towns and other areas where the cost of the film will be too high. I love how they shot the film from how everything looked before the aliens attacked to afterwards, showing the effect of their invasion. I also love how they're able to build up every suspenseful moment and how they're able to shoot them so well, especially when the aliens attack. Now, the special effects for the aliens aren't actually that bad, and I like how dangerous these creatures are. During certain scenes where the aliens are in daylight or in the dark areas, they did a great job making them look such a huge threat and are able to have them come out of nowhere when you least expect it. My only complaint I did have was the jump scares. I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of times when you already know when the jump scare is going to happen, and I really hate these jump scares, especially if they're not executed well, or if you already seen them coming. Although, there are certain times when the film doesn't really rely on that, and thankfully there aren't actually that many jump scares, which is good, since the first film showed you don't really need to rely on them to make every scene scary. You just need to build it up, and thankfully this film was able to do that. And especially when you have the music playing at the right time and the right moment. So I really appreciate what they did here, and I love how in this film the only noises for our characters is mostly just the music that's being made, because they can't make a lot of noises and they have to do all they can to stay quiet, otherwise the aliens will attack. A Quiet Place Part 2 isn't as scary and suspenseful as the first film, but it's still a fun, suspenseful film. It has a good story with great actors who all did a great job with their performance, while also wishing some of them would get a lot of screen time and a lot of character development. They shot the film well, and I especially love the way they got me hooked on everything that's going on for every suspenseful scene. And especially when they showed how there are times when I feel like one of these family members could get killed. I mean, hell, they showed in the last film that some more of them could get killed off. So it's possible that some more could die off in this film too. Although the baby, I seriously doubt was ever going to die. I mean, let's be honest. It's rare to actually see in a horror film babies being killed. All in all, it's a great horror film and one I highly recommend checking out, especially if you're interested in something that scares you. I don't recommend any children to watch this, so please don't send your kids to go watch this film. It's not something you should do at all. So, yeah, if you're interested in checking this out with your friends or with your loved ones, go right ahead. I recommend this film. And if you want to just watch this by yourself, I recommend that as well. But, yeah, A Quiet Place Part 2, it's a good sequel, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to do next with this series. So that's pretty much it, guys. You have a different opinion about this film or what you think of the first film. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button. Check out my Facebook page. Check out my Twitter page. Check out T3 Media's channel. Subscribe to their channel. Keep the day with their videos. And I will see you next time to give you more love and more entertainment. Until then, take care. Be safe. Love you all. And goodbye.